Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to today's session of the Nextv CEO Africa conference. My name is Lara Utian. I'm coming to you from Cape Town in South Africa. I am the director of Red Flag Creative Consulting, and I'm very excited today to be moderating this panel where we're looking at live content and its role within not just social media, but on digital platforms more broadly. And the topic as we have it was the blooming era of live content in Africa. But we're going to get into that conversation shortly. But before we jump into the actual conversation, I'd like to introduce two panelists that we have with us at the moment. We'll start with Kayode Akintemi, who is the Managing Director of Ignite Media Group and Metro TV. And Kayode, maybe you can just say hello and introduce yourself briefly.
My name is Kayode Akintemi. Just finished my time as the Managing Director of Ignite Media, about to start another project, but that I will share the information at some point later. But I've been with Ignite Media for about 9 months. And prior to that, I was with Arise News in Nigeria. And before then, Plus TV and so on. The profile is online. Thank you very much, Lara.
Thank you and welcome. We also have with us Osita Aparaugo from Ogele, the founder and CEO. It's a video streaming service platform. Osita, maybe you can introduce yourself, please, just briefly.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Osita Aparaugo. I'm a lawyer and a filmmaker. I'm the founder of Ogele. Ogele is the foremost user-generated video content sharing app in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we will be joined further down the line by Boniswa Sidwaba, who is the head of content programming Africa from TikTok Africa. However, let's look at this topic and let's start with the question of, are we in the booming era of live content in Africa? And I'd like to hand over to the two gentlemen with us to answer that question. Are we there yet? Are we on the cusp of the boom? We'd just like to hear your opinions. Give us maybe the context of where we are with live streaming, live content in general, and how it fits into the broader video on demand, social media space. So let's start with you, Osita.
So yes, I would think, and our survey suggests also that we are not at the booming stage yet. To put it quite frankly, we don't think it has, or I don't think it has to do with Africa even. We think it has to do with the global entertainment or streaming industry. We are not there yet. You know, if you think we are there, then you think about the experience that people will get when the world is connected on 5G. So it is actually at the beginning, and it looks very promising because it came with a bang. People think we are there, but we are not there yet, because as technology evolves, we begin to see a couple of other reasons, whole of them, why we are not there yet. And then as that technology is evolving and bringing stream experience, live content experience to the world, you will begin to see also an infrastructural growth in Africa, which will begin to try to match with the world. So it's going to be a very lively experience, but we are not there yet. It's coming, but we are not there yet. That's our view here.
And Kayode, would you agree with that?
Definitely, I agree with Osita on that one. We're not there. The area that I might part ways a little bit is the fact that across the world, Africa is way behind the rest of the world on this. And the major factor is
I think the major factor has just made itself clear, which is
exactly.
Which...
the major factor has made it very clear right there. And that's what I was saying when I said that the infrastructural growth
and makes it so to develop content to be able to share that the live.
Sorry, Coyote, we're not hearing you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
You're back. Yes. Maybe just go back to what you were saying about Africa's far behind. And we were saying maybe it's made itself apparent, which is our connectivity issues that we have.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What I'm saying is we're not there yet at the world. The world has left Africa behind to a large extent, primarily because of the fact that the cost of data on this side of the divide, on this side of the world, is so high, and the level of poverty makes it difficult for people to consume as much as they want, and even content producers. It's 5G, 4G world, we're still struggling with it. But the quality of the signal at times is one that gives reason for serious concern. But the network providers, the telecoms, are trying their best, I would reckon, to make sure that people are able to view any kind of content at any time during the course of the day or course of the night. But Africa is moving. The quality of our content is one that I will say fantastic. We have loads of good ones. And then the excellence in producing them, the creativity that goes behind it. At times I look at it, I just sort of like say, yes, kudos to those who are doing it, because we're not short of creative people. We're not short of excellent ideas in terms of content. And I reckon that's why some other online platform like Netflix and all that, they're coming to Africa looking for content on a consistent basis. They're going to Nigeria, to South Africa, to Ghana, and other places because they can see the level of creativity on this side of the world.
No, completely. I think I'd also like to ask, when we're speaking about live content, we're often talking about music or sports or education. Those seem to be the main areas. And do you think that the people who are creating, especially the live content, have an understanding of what's required, both in terms of the production of the actual event they're streaming, and then obviously the technical things, and then also the investments of live content per se? Do you think that, because obviously it's very different than creating a short film or a music video, live content, you might package it afterwards, but during that live event, that live stream, there's a lot of other technical factors at play, and sometimes that can be very expensive. So maybe we'll go, Osita, what do you think? Do you think that the people creating this content understand all the things that are required and how to make a successful live event on digital platforms?
So the thing here is it's simple, right? So some people say content is king, right? And some people say, yes, content is king, but the platform or the means of disseminating that content is the king maker. So if the channel of dissemination becomes the king maker, that means you have to now understand what channel are you supposed to be on. Am I going to be on a video streaming platform having pre-recorded video like your films, your comedy and all that stuff? Or am I going to play in the live sector or the live environment? So first and foremost, I think that the content creator will have to understand, where do I play in primarily? So if I have to use live content to target my audience, then it's a different ballgame. When you come to that, there are questions that are pertinent, questions you must ask yourself and your team. If you get that going, then there is a higher percentage of opportunity for you to thrive, capturing your audience using the live event. That's why music seems to have got it, because it is a straightforward event, right? So I have Davido, for the sake of this conversation, on a live event streaming out of O2. Why is it that it's become more successful in the West than it's become here for the sake of this conversation, right? Because they understand the questions. They understand the why. Why am I doing this event? So if you understand why I'm doing the event, what's the outcome? You know, what do I want to achieve? Is it a monetary gain? Is it to start a conversation? Am I answering the audience questions about a brand? Am I making call to action? These are questions that you have to ask yourself before you embark on using live events to target a particular audience. And when you answer the why, it brings you to the next question. The next question will now be who? Who is your audience? And if you get your audience right, like Kayode has said about infrastructure and the cost of data, so if you are now looking at your who, is your who in Africa or your who in Europe? If your who is in Europe, it means, or in the West, it means they may have a stable light, stable internet, and stable connectivity. If your who is in Africa, where is it in Africa? Because as you go around the continent, you begin to see that the cost of data vary from one country to another. So this is the second thing you have to put into consideration. So you've got your why, then you're going to get your who. Your who would depend on your understanding, and then you now tailor your live content or your live event towards the who. When you get the who in place, it brings us to the third stage. It just doesn't happen overnight. Your third stage will now be the technology. What technology are you using to capture this audience that you have identified the why and the who, and then it comes to technology? If your technology is way advanced than the ones you are targeting, there may not be compatibility. If there are no compatibility in technology, it may bring a hitch. If it brings a hitch to your live event, you have not communicated, your why is lost, your who is lost. So now you look at the technology understanding and compare it with where you are shooting from. If it matches your audience, then there you go. You are almost at the last stage of it, and you are now going to be talking to the post-event. So I have my why, and it was awesome. And I have my who, and I got them. And I looked at the technology, and we are at pair. So I have a live event, and it was good. But after that, how do I now follow up? This is where Africa has a problem. It's not about staging a beautiful event. You did stage a beautiful event, but what happened post-event? Did you try to look at the database? What was it like? Where did you get most of your traffic from? Did you go back to them to say, thank you for coming to this event? If this is what's going to happen, this is a recap of what happened, give them a trailer of it, even though they saw it, so they can share. Give them something to think about so they can carry on the good message. By the time you come with another event, then you already have 10 people who've talked to 10 people because you did tick all the boxes before you had your event. Thank you.
I think that's you've hit so many issues spot on there. Especially, I think the issues around technology and also the importance of analytics and analyzing what's happened afterwards and knowing why you're doing what you're doing. And at this point, though, I would also now like to bring into the conversation Boniswa Sidwaba, who is the head of content programming Africa for TikTok. Boniswa, welcome. If you can, hello, thank you. Nice to see you. Welcome.
Hi, Lara. Hi, how are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you so much for joining us. We're in the bit of a thick of an amazing conversation here. So maybe I'll just ask you from your perspective in terms of TikTok, which is obviously a global platform operating in many different markets, some very technologically advanced, others not so much. In terms of specifically your experience with Africa and TikTok being an entertainment platform, where do you see the role of live content on TikTok, and how is TikTok as a brand seeing the growth of live content in Africa? And do you also then think that the users who are creating that content understand, as Ositu was just talking about, very much the why are they doing live content as opposed to just pre-package, and do they understand the different challenges that come with it and the opportunities? So I'll hand over to you.
Cool. I think there were 3 questions in that question. So
yes. Feel free to just approach it as you like.
So Lara, we've definitely been seeing an uptake in the consumption of live content on the platform, as well as an uptake in the use of the products on TikTok, which is part of the reason why we continue to invest in live. I will add that it's definitely not one of our top performing product features, but we've definitely seen an uptake if we compare 2021 to 2022, which is why the content programming team, which is a team that I head up, is still focusing on investing in live specifically. So I'll touch on the various ways in which we do this. So from a live content production point of view, so we approach live in 2 different ways. So usually what we do is we will look at the year calendar. So we'll look at our annual calendar. We'll identify specific events that we call tentpole events. So those are our key events that we feel are lucrative. And those are the events that we feel a lot of our community will basically be looking out for those events. So when we have those events, we decide to curate a short video component, which plays out in the form of either an effect challenge or a hashtag challenge. And then we also have a live component. So I'll make a very good example of this. So for Valentine's Day, we invited a series of musicians from sub-Saharan Africa, so South Africa, Nigeria, as well as South Africa, Southern Africa, West Africa, and East Africa, to do a love serenade version of a live. So what we've seen dating back from 2021 to 2022 is that our music lives are always our top performing lives. And that's where we're heavily investing. So if I could refer to some of our top performing lives, last year we focused on the music genre of Amapiano. Our top performing live for last year was a live called the Amapiano Festival. So what we did there is we invited a select group of Amapiano DJs and producers, including Durban Gogo, including Jazzy Q, to do a live performance. We invited a select few like media, as well as TikTok creators to attend the event physically, but the rest of it was actually focused on live, and we broadcasted that on TikTok, and obviously audiences from the UK, Canada, and South Africa, the rest of Africa, were able to watch that live. So that was our top performing live last year. This year, our top performing live was a live by CK. You may have heard the song Love Nwantiti. That one continues, well, CK continues to be, or the song specifically Love Nwantiti continues to be a big hit on TikTok. So that live did really well. So back to, I think, the point on why TikTok invests in live, we've figured out what works in terms of live, and we definitely know that it's music, but we are exploring other avenues. So we're definitely focused on entertainment as well as sport. And the way that we do those lives, apart from the tentpole events, is we partner with media partners or content partners. We also partner with musicians, and we also partner with creators that want to do those lives. We spend quite a lot of time working very closely with our partners as well as our creators. So we have a project that we'll be launching this year called Level Up. And this project is specifically focused on identifying a group of creators that are constantly going live and make use of the live product. So we identify people that are already using the product and already have interest. The reason we're identifying them is because we want to work with them to improve the way that they're using the product and to help them basically improve their content offering on live. And within that program, we'll touch on different areas. So we'll touch on how to make live content, how to appeal to your audience, and how to basically just become better as a live creator. So I think I touched on 2 points. Let me know if I missed one of the points that you mentioned in your question.
No, I think that was great. Thank you. I think you touched on it was just that idea of do the users have that understanding in terms of what works? And so obviously you're saying there are some, and you're going to work with them to develop that further.
Yeah. So for live creators, so for those people that usually go live, we identify a select group of creators that we work with. There are actually creators that we communicate with on a daily basis, to basically like give them tips or advice if they ever need any advice. But I think from a consumption point of view, or from the person that's experiencing the live, I think we obviously take note of the data after every live that we've done. We look at the data across the board for the year. We look at things like watch duration, watch UV, so how many people have watched the live. And when we look at all of that data, we then have a clear overall picture of what works best. And this is how we've been able to basically settle on the fact that music lives end up doing best. Yeah. So that's basically how we get a sense of how users are enjoying the product, or how users are enjoying the lives that we're promoting.
No, that's great. Thanks. Coyote, I want to throw the question to you as well in terms of your experience in terms of the people who are creating live content. Coyote, you're still with us, Coyote? I think we may have lost Coyote. Okay, he was having some connectivity issues, which we highlighted as one of our biggest challenges on the continent, in terms of all of our connectivity, in terms of specifically any sort of video streaming and live. So as soon as he comes back, we'll pull him back into the conversation. But let's focus on that. I mean, both of you have touched very much on where the opportunities lie, but maybe just to go back to that, what are the big opportunities? What does live content provide? Where are the spaces that this can really work for, whether it's brands, whether it's musicians themselves? Where is live content perhaps better, or where does it provide more opportunity than more traditional sort of prepackaged? And obviously there's also that conversation and of the long tail of live content where you can then package it for post live watching. So let's start with you, Boniswa, and then Osita, I'd like to throw that to you then as well, is where do you see the biggest opportunities for content creators and creatives? Because I think the thing as well that live possibly does is it gives, as you say, with music being such a big part of it, this isn't just a space for filmmakers and producers. This is now a space for musicians, dancers, anyone who's in the other creative sectors to come in. So where do you see the biggest opportunities in live content being, Boniswa?
I think the first one for creators, I think without trying to like point the word out too obviously, I think the fact that it's live content and the fact that you're connecting with your audience in real time definitely has a completely different offering to sort of like pre-packaged content or content that's created before the time. So that real-time connection, I think, is a big factor for creators that are creating lives, as well as for the people that are watching the lives. And I think based on like some of the comments that we see on lives, I think those are most of the comments that you see is like please sing my favorite song, or what happened with this. So I think that just like real-time connection is a big factor. We at TikTok have not yet monetized our lives. This is something that we're definitely thinking about and working with our business, global business solutions team to develop along the line. We do have some monetization aspects that have launched in sub-Saharan Africa. So for example, live gifting. So if you go live and people love watching you live, they send you various gifts. So these gifts come in the form of little kind of like roses or sunglasses, and they all have like different values. So I think that's obviously lucrative for creators that are going live. And we really do have some creators that are making a ton of money while going live. So I think real-time connection with audience and real-time connection with the content creator or celebrity or public figure is definitely a plus. The fact that there are monetization opportunities for creators is definitely a plus as well. I think in the future for brands, and we've seen this happen in other markets such as the UK, brands are definitely going to start benefiting from working with creators or content creators that are making live content. Brand placement in lives is definitely a big win for brands. So yeah, I think that's where most of the opportunities lie. And in the long term, we'll definitely see a lot more monetization opportunities for creators as well as for brands to make some revenue by working with creators.
That's great. Osita, where do you see the major opportunities, especially for Africans creating live content? Sorry, Osita, we can't hear you.
Hold on a second. Sorry about that. My mic was turned off. Yeah. So for us at Ogele, one thing has become clear, that live event is a direction that we want to take on, right? But we have analyzed it. So we are, like I said, the first user-generated video content sharing app in Africa. So our audience are Africans. Africans in Africa and Africans in the diaspora. And we've looked at content and how to incorporate live events into what we do. And we are starting on the 1st of October this year. 1st of October, we will have our first global live event, and it's going to be music. In the areas of content creation that we think live events will benefit creators, will definitely still be music. However, we've looked at gaming. Gaming could be another area that will benefit creators and players. But in other aspects of creativity, you may have to find out that sports, which predominantly does not benefit a lot of creators, even the footballers themselves, but benefits the clubs and the big giants that have the marketing right to those events, is another area where live streaming will be big. So we are going to start, yes, but we are looking at music first. So music, gaming, and then you may not know, or people don't believe it, but from our analysis and study, comedy gives a whole lot of different experience to live streaming. Because if you have very good comedians and the age bracket is very reduced, so you're not going to come to say silly jokes, right? So you don't get a slap, you know? So
yeah. Yeah.
So if you're going to say jokes for 13 upwards, right? You may have a family over dinner enjoying a live event when it's comedy, because it's a content that is served to all. So for us, and based on our study, music, comedy, and gaming is where we are venturing into first as a platform.
Oh, that's great. So that makes sense. And then in terms of overcoming some of the challenges, I mean, I think, you know, it's so obvious to everyone, obviously, the cost of data, the inability, the lack of connectivity, even in major cities, let alone in smaller towns or more rural areas. But so I think I want to throw this back to both of you again. We'll start with Boniswa. Partnerships, collaborations, be they with telcos, be they with live events, festivals, even other more traditional media platforms or other platforms. How can you overcome the very obvious challenges that we have as a vast continent, whether it's around language, whether it's around data, all of that. So, and I think how do partnerships specifically address some of those challenges? Boniswa, we'll start with you.
Thanks, Lara. So on the data issue, I think the data issue will continue to be an issue or a challenge that we work with our global business solutions team or global business development team to try to solve. So our global business development team works with strategic partners in the market to basically help us grow the business. One of their core partners are telcos. So I'll make an example of how we've partnered with telcos in the past from a content programming or operations team point of view. So we hosted a live with South African rapper Nextv CEO. We partnered with one telco. I won't mention their name on this call. So we partnered with the telco, and the telco's role for that live was basically to zero rate the live and to send, I think, some of our user base some free data, obviously those that were part of that network. So those are some of the ways in which we've tried to partner with telcos. We continue to try to figure out new ways of partnering with telcos. So the project that I mentioned earlier, where we'll be working with creators, we're partnering with a telco to give some of those creators a specific allocated amount of free data per week to encourage them to go live. So yeah, I definitely would say that there are, that is definitely one challenge that we're highly aware of, and we try, when working or thinking about live campaigns, we try to think about how we can partner with telcos specifically. Apart from telcos, we also partner with content partners or media partners. So I'll mention two. So we recently partnered with Netflix for the Bridgerton affair. So Netflix took care of hosting the event, curating the event, and Netflix approached TikTok and asked TikTok to partner with Netflix to have the affair live on TikTok. So that's one example of how we partner with media partners. And then another exciting opportunity that we have coming up, it's already been announced, it's live on the platform. So we've partnered up with Khan, and the competition or the partnership is a twofold. It's a partnership that consists of two main components. The first component is we've asked creators on the platform that are creating entertainment types of contents. We've asked creators that are creating short film type of content to enter a competition. They'll have the chance of winning cash prizes, and they'll also have the opportunity to potentially attend the festival should they be one of the selected winners. So that's one way in which we're trying to highlight entertainment content on the platform, as well as incentivize creators that are creating this kind of content. It's a global campaign, it's a global partnerships. So all markets, including Sub-Saharan Africa, including all three of our core markets, have the opportunity to be a part of this fantastic opportunity to attend the festival, as well as have their work showcased on a global stage, or on the Cannes stage rather. And then the second aspect of the Cannes Festival is that we will be streaming. So we do have a streaming or live partnership with Cannes. So we will be live from the festival, and this will be happening later in May. Yeah, so I think those are two examples of how we work with both telco partners and then media partners.
Great, thank you. I'd like to welcome Coyote back. You've been able to reconnect. Thank you so much. Yeah. While you've been away, we've been discussing what we see as the key opportunities for the live space. Where are the ways that, whether it's platforms or the creators themselves, can find the most benefit and opportunities from live content? And then, as you've heard, we've also been discussing how do we overcome the challenges of live content? Obviously, the most obvious being connectivity, cost of data. So let me throw both those to you in terms of where do you see the biggest opportunities for both platforms hosting live content and the creators being, and then how do we overcome the challenges?
I think that the biggest opportunity that is out there is collaboration and partnership, like Bonizo just said. I noticed that I've traveled around Africa quite a bit, and I know quite a few CEOs of media houses, traditional media houses around the continent. And I can say without a shadow of doubt that in terms of expertise on social media, on live content online, there is paucity of knowledge and understanding of it amongst the media executive. And most of their staff don't even understand it at all. So that means that there is that massive gap and big opportunity. That gap can translate into a big opportunity. Imagine what can happen when you have all of the news television stations across the continent, the entertainment stations around the continent, if they are collaborating and partnering with TikTok, bringing in Ogele, bringing in all the other content producers and working together to create live events and live content that makes it possible that people will have access to this kind of that they normally would not get, and they probably will not be interested in watching on television. That would be an amazing opportunity that Africa can benefit from. I know that in other parts of the world, media organizations do it, content producers do it. They collaborate, like Bonizo just said, with TikTok, with other platforms, and they make these things happen. And it looks like really easy to do it, but it's just a case of a decision to make this happen. There's also the issue of training and development. Around Africa, a lot of young people are very enterprising, very creative. They've got the capacity to do a lot of things because of the juice of creativity that is flowing within them. But understanding the technicality of the platform that they're using, I listened to a part of what Osita said earlier before I lost connection, and understanding the platform and the technical understanding to deliver on that platform, those are key issues that need to be addressed. If we're addressing it, we see it as an opportunity, but we're bringing the expertise to help to develop the people that have the capacity and the knowledge to do these things, or the creativity rather than the knowledge. They have the creativity, but they don't have the knowledge to deliver it. So these are areas that I see as opportunity, primarily collaboration, partnership, TikTok working, other platforms working with traditional media, with content providers, with even ordinary people or businesses that just want to promote their own events and make it a live event.
Oh, that's fantastic. Osita, let's hand it over to you for your thoughts on this.
So sorry, what was the question again?
Sorry, so where do you see the biggest opportunities? And then how do we, I think we did that, but then how do we overcome the challenges? What solutions can we, because we all know what the challenges are. So how are you as a platform perhaps addressing some of those challenges, whether it's around data connectivity, growing audiences, and even the challenges you mentioned of the users not necessarily understanding all those elements. So where are you as a platform, or how do you see us getting past some of these challenges?
So for us as a platform, we've identified what the challenges are. And we all know what the challenges are. And the key factor here will be, we are a platform and you are a content creator and you are a consumer, or you are a brand that needs visibility. So we all have interest. So for us, it's all about partnership and collaboration. That's a win-win for everyone. Like the TikTok lady said, the TikTok lady that will be joining Ogele Okay. So, yeah.
Collaborations are happening.
That's the collaboration we are talking about. So, you see how she enumerated it, and you can take anything from what Bonsoir said about TikTok coming with Netflix, coming with the content creator, coming with the telco company. Once you put it all together, you have a total package, because the world, so to say, has become so globalized now that people are now beginning to ask questions. So you can't afford to get it wrong. The competition is fierce. As you drop, another person is taking, because it doesn't allow vacuum. So for us, it's all about it's all about partnership. So, and then again, it's one thing that I hold very dearly. I have spoken about it, and I have had the opportunity to address a section of the African Union and then the ECOWAS on this issue, the issue of cryptocurrency. Africa cannot afford to play a catch-up on blockchain. This is going to rule the world, and the world that we play in, the world of video streaming, the world of content dissemination, because it will come at a time when a live event that's happening in Lagos and someone needs to pay for that event. If you listen to Boswell, she said, we have not started monetizing our live event yet. Most people have not, because you will now begin to think, how will the guy in Zimbabwe pay for a live event? How will me in Lagos that's using a Naira? How will that guy in India that's using a rupee, and the guy in the US that's using a dollar? So if we all have the wallets, then you see we can swap and pay in 1 second, watching the same live event, no matter where it is streamed and no matter the currency with which the organizers have asked for. So this calls for a lot of collaboration with all the elements that make up a good show. For what we are starting in October, we are starting with music. And our target is to have not less than 25 million Africans in Africa and Africans in the diaspora key into what we are going to do in October 1st of this year. You will hear about it. It will be amazing. Collaboration is about 25 people already. 19 have signed in, and they can't wait for us to start the campaign. So for us, it's all about collaboration, understanding the technology, and seeing how compatible that event will be.
Fantastic. We've just got a few minutes left, so I'd like to get maybe some final thoughts from everyone, just in terms of taking it back very specifically to the content creator, because I think that's kind of at the heart of it. Although if you disagree, please feel free to give your thoughts for anyone else in the value chain. What do people need to know in terms of going forward? What are the key trends that you see for the future? What recommendations would you give to those wanting to play in the space, be they brands or content creators, in terms of really being part of this, like we said, on the cusp of the boom? So how do those really wanting to take advantage of this do so? So let's start with Kayode. What are your recommendations for those really looking to take advantage of this space?
Okay, thank you very much, Lara. The first thing that crossed my mind is Boniswa is in charge of, I would assume that Boniswa is in charge of TikTok in Africa. Now, look at what Netflix does. Netflix, on the one hand, wait for a lot of people to present to them their proposals, and they pitch stories, and they will go through and make a decision as to whether they want to go ahead with that idea and produce, or just fund it or commission it. And then there are times that they actually go out and seek out Nigerian producers. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yes. So they will go back to those who are looking. They will tell those who have the capacity to produce and tell them, produce this for us and we'll be happy to take it. Can TikTok and other platforms do the same thing? Come to TV stations, come to Ogele and other content producers, and we will give you all the support that is required and we will help you. That will be a big step in helping to galvanize the market within the African continent, I think.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you. Osito, let's go to you next. What are your recommendations for those really looking to take advantage of the space? And we've only got a couple minutes left, so just 2 minutes.
So for me, it's just to first going back again, that brings me back to where I started. So my recommendation is you have to know why you're doing live event. You have to know who your target audience are, and you want to check out the technologies and see if it is compatible with who you are targeting. And you need to, when that is done, you need to watch what your database, what duration, how did people interact with what you did, and how many people that came on board, and get back to them. You must have a follow-up to say this is what it is and that's what it is not. And then look out for collaboration. You can't do it alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Boniswa?
Thanks, Lara. I think some opportunities for creators to look out for, I would definitely say try the live feature on TikTok. You have the access to the live feature if you have 1,000 plus creators. The reason I emphasize this is because at TikTok, we really do consider, as one of our strategic priorities, we really consider working with creators quite closely. We have an entire team that's dedicated to doing this. That's our content partnerships team that work both with media partners as well as creators, such as you and I, for example. So I'd really encourage people that are interested in creating live content to try TikTok live out. As soon as you start kind of like getting a following, or you start getting a feel for the type of live content that you like creating, and you start garnering an audience and a consistent audience, we start identifying those creators, and we definitely start working very closely with those creators. So I think from an education point of view, which I think both Osita touched on, I think definitely from a TikTok point of view, we're definitely investing in education to make sure that we're educating content creators as well as media partners that we're working with, because we're very well aware of the fact that TikTok is still a relatively new product. I think from a trends point of view, so entertainment at large is definitely a booming and growing category. And when we start to kind of like break entertainment down, I would say entertainment, and then sport, as well as music, as well as entertainment, sport, music, beauty care, we've definitely seen an uptake. So just having creators go live, sharing their skincare routines, sharing their makeup routines. Food does well on the platform as well. We've definitely seen some growth in the food category on TikTok this year specifically. Yeah, so I would say if you're a content creator and you're interested in going live, do try the product out. And yeah, just, yeah, I think focus on sport, entertainment, music, beauty care, fashion, or of course, if you have a specific like niche category that you're interested in exploring, definitely go down that route as well, because we do have consumers on the platform that are eager to experience different types of live contents and live creators on the platform.
Thank you so much. I think this has been a truly engaging discussion, really looking at the reality of the space that live content is taking in terms of digital platforms, and the incredible opportunity that it presents. So thank you very much to Kayode, to Osita and Boniswa. Ogele, as you can see, it's ogele.com if anyone wants to go and share their content there. I think most people know how to access TikTok. And Kayode, thank you so much. Good luck on your new endeavors as well. And thank you to the conference, Nextv CEO Africa, and enjoy the next panel. Thank you very much.